We'll just hold it with each other for a while, okay?
Dharma
Welcome everyone. We'll just stay focused in a little bit. We'll extend that awareness through our bodies. Then we can extend to each other, inside to inside directly. And we'll extend to the generational feel. The mothers and the fathers, and the mothers and the fathers, and families. The light extending to the light. Don't extend to all the great yogis we've met, the great gurus, and those people who embody awareness so completely that the invisible becomes visible. And we can think of them individually right now if you'd like. With each of our extensions of our awareness, resonance increases. We'll extend to the different traditions that we participate in. And those fields of knowledge, information, and light articulated over the centuries mix in our bodies. Then we'll extend to that dimension of our own awareness, which is so ineffable and mysterious. The yogis call this Sambhogakaya. The Devas and Dakinis. And today we'll focus on the Dark Mother. Clear body's here. And so we'll just rest for a while in the awareness state. And begin again with some Dorje Lingpa's instructions on meditative awareness. And we're going to cover the same territory a little bit like we did last week, because other people are coming in, and probably by October we'll be on a regular basis, but people are coming and going, which is great. So he says this: you and I are indivisible, and all phenomena are subsumed by appearing as existence, appearing within psychic existence and enlightenment. Then it says, do not transcend or go beyond or try to go beyond the manifestation of emptiness or spaciousness. Experience the indwelling nature just as it is, within you and around you and through you. Emptiness is like space. And if you come to the decisive conclusion that your phenomena and others' phenomena are entirely the play, the manifestation of a single space, of single space, that is called pure space, the view. And making that continuous nature a manifest presence is meditation. That continuous nature, making that manifest presence, is meditation. It's called the vast expanse of space. Conduct or behavior, experience, does not go beyond that. Having no second thoughts, know that. cutting through, but sometimes called treko, direct crossing, togao, like gazing, or instructions for entering the innermost core of the clear light of knowingness. Then he says, never separate meditation and mantra recitation. We'll continue with some more of his understanding and teachings. He says, appearance of the basis, so appearance of the basis, the base, unfolds from the basis of being. It's also nice to think sometimes, or if you want to, that being and beings are different. Phenomenological, ontological difference, big word, but being and beings are different. The difference in this way, being is not a being. Being manifests all the beings, becomes all the beings, but being itself is not a big being. It is not a being. And then this is a decisive understanding at times between the West and the East on the very nature of God. Is God a big being, or is God being itself, but not a being? You follow that? Then someone like Meister Eckhart kind of has God as a big being. Then he said, isn't God beyond God, which is being itself, you know? He was working it out. Very great yogi, huh? All appearance of the basis unfolds, but you're not a being either, are you? You are a being, but you're also not a being. The beingness of your own being is not a being. You are a being who experiences the beingness of being. And the beingness of being is, from this point of view here, your own subjectivity. And from this frame, subjectivity is not a being. It's the beingness of being in a being. You guys follow that? Just like your subjectivity, the who, is nothing. It is no thing. And yet out of that no thing, all kind of things arise, huh? Baltimore arose. Yeah? All appearance of the basis unfolds from the basis of being. Apart from that, nothing exists. Absolutely all phenomena emerge from awareness. Nothing substantially exists independent of awareness. And we can fetter ourselves by clinging to space as something solid. And we can fetter ourselves by experiencing the basis of being as something other than what it is. Maintaining obsessive attachment to the productions of the mind, conceptual thought. You bind yourself by considering them the enemy or taking them too serious. Thoughts change within themselves to wisdom. Thoughts change themselves to wisdom when experienced within awareness as the very manifestations of awareness. Everybody gets that, right? Then he says, the age, is the pure sphere, S-P-H-E-R-E, of basic space. Is the pure sphere of basic space. Is free from birth and cessation, death. Let's say together. And by the mere expression of this essence, of the basic space of phenomena's wisdom, it is so encompassing. The basis of all expression is the self-arising Then there's a personal comment of Namke Norbo would always say, in terms of dying, You really got to be really strong to do power. How do you say it, power? When you enter? Yes, power. So you really got to be in good shape to do that. But he says, is the simplest way to die. Just the practicing of the ah. And with you leave in all directions. You pass through. The two of us, you and I, are indivisible. We have no good or bad, no hope or fear, no acceptance or rejection. The basic space of the body of ultimate enlightenment is not something you can attain or even lose. Phew. The basic space of the body of ultimate enlightenment is not something you can gain or attain or lose. You can't attain it and you can't lose it. When you realize this meaning, you're an adept. We'll go that one again for fun. The two of us, you and I, are indivisible. We have no good or bad, no hope or fear, no acceptance or rejection. The basic space of the body, and they speak of lots of different types of bodies, right? The body of ultimate enlightenment is not something you can attain or lose. When you realize this meaning, you're an adept. The basic space of the body of enlightenment is not something you can attain or lose. And he says, listen, my fortunate child. The nature of earth is space, and space appears and manifests as earth. And the nature of water is space, and space appears as water. And the nature of all fire is space, and space appears as fire. And even the nature of air is space, and space appears as air. And the nature of the rainbows are space, and space appears as the elements. There's a great book on this by Tinley Norbo called The Magic Dance. It's a book on the elements and the subtle elements, and then working within the subtle elements. And a lot of Dzogchen was initially a path of the elements. And initially, the path of the self's appearance, the nature of the self's appearance is space, and space appears as the self or a self. Think about Winnicott also in his works on transitional space. And he would say, if a person can experience transitional space at intermediate area, then they can experience the arising of the self. If they're only in their mind, they'll have a representational self, as they say, a self-concept. But that self-concept is a very fragile instrument, But in transitional space, the sense of the self arises, even in psychoanalysis. Along Winnicott. Space appears, so the nature of the self's appearance is space, and space appears as a self. The nature of environments and inhabitants is space. The nature of all the environments and all the inhabitants is space, and space appears as the manifestation of environments and inhabitants. Space appears as a self. All phenomena are self-manifest luminous appearances that change within themselves. Nothing permanently endures. Your own basis of being is spaciousness, ever excellent panoramic space. Your own basis of being is spaciousness, ever excellent panoramic space. Once you've experienced this directly with yourself, you gain mastery of reality. Turn your attention to the basic space of spontaneous presence. Turn our attention to the basic space of spontaneous presence. Then he says, karmic embodiments will shift to the pristine essence of pure basic space. When it has shifted to the pristine essence of pure space, you will manifest Buddhahood as the body of enlightenment, free from elaboration. Then a quote from that text called The Splendid Presence of the Great Gudyarpa Tantra by the Pamasambhava brothers. And what exactly is realization? Realization does not entail getting anything new. The true nature, our true nature is already in the inseparable state of purity and equality. It's beyond all dualistic conceptions. Therefore, we've explained many, many times, realization refers to abiding in the state of the true nature without being so disturbed by duality. Great phrase, huh? Realization is to realize the purity of all phenomena and the inseparable nature of the great equality of all phenomena. Great equanimity. So we'll just sit quietly for a few minutes. Let's extend to each other. And I'm going to go over part of what we spoke about last week, just to kind of have everybody in it. Person is place, the place of awareness. Awareness is space, huh? Like spacious knowingness. It is useful to understand, like a skillful means method, that you and I are the place of awareness. So we have, in that little room, we have all these different little places of awareness. There's Karen place of awareness, and Aaron place of awareness, and Skip place of awareness, and there's Barbara place of awareness, and Lynn, all these little places of awareness. We can even just look at all these places. Little lokas, right? In Latin, loka, the different lokas, all these little lokas of awareness. So you are a place of awareness, and all human beings are places of awareness. All sentient beings, huh? Little places of awareness. The place of awareness is a place of space. Okay? The place of awareness is a place of space. This is basically, I'm taking something from phenomenology. Now, first was Dzogchen. Now I'm reading a play on Heidegger, okay? Where he understood that human beings are places of space. Fair enough? That's our seminar. It has kind of two strings. Huh? The place of awareness manifesting within the vast space of awareness. The place of awareness, that's our place, your place, my place, is manifesting in this vast space of awareness. Huh? It's the opening of awareness within the field of awareness. Or opening within the openness. So the entire space of awareness is openness. This Dharmakaya is openness, right? Sunyata is vast openness. Then within this openness is openness. Moi and you. Can you feel that a bit? Openness within the openness. So as we look around, we can view people, if we want to, as openings of space within the field of space. Places of opening, places of space, places within space, space within space. Sometimes we can feel the ground of awareness, the ground becoming more and more spacious. And that's a tricky moment, huh? Because sometimes the ground of awareness feels like a base. It actually feels like, I have a base, okay? And then sometimes the ground becomes groundless, like more space. And that's a tricky moment, huh? Then we assimilate to that. You can experience this place within you and through you. So we can think, not just thinking with our mind, but sensing it, almost like non-conceptually knowing it. Place, place. Within me, and me within the place. And through me. This place comes through me. This place comes through me to you. And your place can come through you to me. That sort of makes sense, huh? As you experience yourself as a place, you can, through your place, experience the place of others. Let's see if we can do that. You can focus on the person next to you. And as we do this, we're actually going right through the middle of realism and idealism. As we enter this way of holding awareness and understanding it, we're not quite in realism, which is the world as things, nor idealism, which is the world as ideas. Sort of right in the middle. With a medium of space, this experience can be direct. So what's our medium is space. Like the three circles that Tanya once described, huh? Space, through space, entering space. Lokas. Place entering place. Even in everyday language, there's some implication of entering into otherness as space. I'm into him. I'm into her. I'm into them. They're into me. He's into me. She's into me. I'm into it. Huh? You've heard that? Ever feel it? That you're actually into someone more than another? Like you're actually into them? So this is not a talk about contact. Contact is more external. If I touch Juliet on her shoulder, that's contact. That's not the type of enter we're talking about. It's not a contact moment. It's more direct than that. Raise your hands if that makes sense. Place enters place. Interplace happens directly. There's a form of Buddhism called Huyan Buddhism that makes this very, very explicit. The place of awareness, which is space, can extend and be extended. Do you ever feel like you have a little tiny space of awareness? Little teeny, teeny, teeny contracted place. Sometimes when we go into awareness, we can't even find that place. Then you might find it, right in your heart. You might find it in your ear, in your throat. Little bitty space. Right? Sometimes you can, and then you enter that space, and then you're in it. Sometimes it just opens naturally, and sometimes by being in it, you can practice extending it. It's also a local and non-local place, isn't it? It's local. Right now it's local at 1834 Swan Street. And some people, it's local against the wall, some are in the middle. It's a local space. And yet at the very same time, it's completely non-local. The space that you are is both local and non-local. Does that make sense? You know? It's a multidimensional space. When we extend to each other over the internet, like we do sometimes, is that local or non-local? That's a non-local experience. Raise your hands if you think that. You don't have to agree with it if you think it. If you extend to someone you love right now, you think it's local? You're thinking you're sending it through the local? Or do you think it's non-local? Do you think of your place as local or non-local or both? Kind of like Meister Eckhart, right? Raise, don't just play, pacify. Raise if you feel or you have some understanding that the place of your awareness is both local and non-local. If you actually have some experience of that. Local and non-local. When you experience that your place is both local and non-local, are you less afraid of death? When you experience that your place is both local and non-local, are you less afraid of death? Extending the space of awareness is an amazing, skillful means. Place can be extended and place can be entered into. Your place can be expanded and can be open and can also close and contract. I'm not talking about being an external personality. What do you mean, an extrovert? This is not on the level of extroverted and introvertedness. Right? In that language, a person can be an introvert and be totally open, right? It's not a question of telling jokes. So, Dasein. Initially, Heidegger used the word Dasein, being there. And being there, he doesn't mean to be being present. He meant you're there in the world. You're manifested in the field. You with me? You're Dasein. You're in the world. No question about it. You're actually in non-duality to start off with. The you and me part would be duality. And then he began to realize this is pretty not open enough. So then he began to experience Dasein as openness, just as the ground of being is openness. And as you experience your openness as the ground of openness itself, that is a really great place to be. Follow that? And this is not simply trying to be cute with language, but have language, because language holds being and language holds our mind. But how can we use language that really opens us into understanding non-dualistic experience, huh? The Mayamaka, like Naraguna, didn't quite trust that. You with me? And so he really, we'll go over this sometime more, but he really felt that attributions and words really take you out of emptiness. Okay? And so he would deconstruct all logic by using logic that you'd have. He deconstructed the mind. He would deconstruct the mind. And in that way, it was a very powerful method. You with me? Even some therapists do that with people. They deconstruct their minds through intense sorts of work. Not always easy. And you follow what I'm saying? But there emerged, so it's very powerful, but it had some, it wasn't exactly positive, you know? We'll talk about that another time. Maybe next week we'll go through a history of emptiness and how we think about it. And how if we think about it certain ways, it forecloses it. You know? A-okay with everybody? You guys following us a little bit? Back to the place. So an open place can become a contained space. And your place can go far beyond your body boundaries. As you can extend this place of your awareness, you experience the indivisibility of your place with other places. And if you feel yourself as a place of space, you can easily feel the indivisibility of your place with another place. Let's see if we can do that right now. All the places. Longchenpa talks like this also, right? Space. Do you feel the space? At the very same time, you can feel the difference between the place you are and all the other places. Can you feel that? Can you feel the difference? At the level of indivisibility, there's no difference. But at another level of me and you, there's a difference. It's a felt difference. It may not be an ontological difference, but it's a difference. Say yes if you feel that. Mm-hmm. Some say duality is simply a function of mind. Others think duality is a manifestation of the infinite creativity, manifesting all these beings. They have different noses and faces. So there is a level of duality, a me and you, that's indivisible. Differentiatedness is divisibility. Differentiatedness is duality, me and you. Within me and you is the indivisibleness, or with me and you, or within the indivisibility. This is just one way of thinking about this, without foreclosing duality. That's why I like that topic about realization, without being so disturbed by duality. At the very same time, you can feel the difference between the place you're in and all the other places. Sometimes we can enter fusion states, and many of us enter fusion states, or have entered fusion states and trance states, and have felt a kind of fusion-like oneness. Raise your hands if you've done that. Am I the only one? Oh, maybe so. Okay. Okay. And then we can fuse those trance states and those fusion states with non-duality. Goo is fun, though. You have to admit it. You guys follow this? Being gooey? Some of us are more gooey than others. And we think that those states of gooey and those states of fusion are states of non-duality. But then we don't know who in the heck we are. We don't know whether it's me or you. When I don't know if it's me or you, that is not necessarily a good place for me to be in. It could be a good place for you. Right? Happens a lot in meditative worlds. Tricky question. Do you think trance is a function of mind or a function of awareness? Someone's calling with the answer. Do you think trance is a function of mind or a function of awareness? If trance is a dissociative state, is it a function of mind or a function of awareness? I have a lot of time on my hands. Why is this useful questions? Why is this a useful question? Hmm? Have any of you ever been in a trance state and didn't know where you were at? Any of you ever been in a trance state with another person? It can be fun up to a point, except you have no idea where you're at. Trance is sometimes very useful for people. It really is a useful experience. Pain. It's useful redefining a lot of things if you're in a trance state. There's a power to it. But you might not be in the power of awareness itself. You don't have to believe any of this. It's just if you believe all this stuff. But you might not have the power of awareness itself. Is trance a function of the mind or a function of awareness? Why don't we think about that? Some might say, well, it depends on what type of hypnosis you're doing, right? So many types of hypnosis, you take the mind and you amplify a function of the mind. Sensation, memory, fantasy, affects, you amplify them. And what will happen to the person if you amplify them enough, skillfully? They will go into a trance state. And they can actually work from that place. Some people go into trance states and there's no work done, but there's the experience of trance. It will have a dissociative quality to it. Just like many forms of meditation can have a dissociative quality. It's okay with you guys right now? If you follow someone like Ernest Rossi, who I particularly like, you focus on awareness. And the type of experiences you go into will be more often than not awareness states. You with me? If you do Eugene Genlin's focusing, you will go into states of awareness and not necessarily dissociative states. Raise your hands if you understand this at all. Right? How many of you know Ernest Rossi's work? How many of you know Eugene Genlin's work? It's really useful to know both those works. Ernest Rossi's work on creativity and his form of hypnosis, which he learned from Milton Erickson. And Milton Erickson obviously has two types of hypnosis, one dissociative, one non-dissociative. The most powerful is the non-dissociative type, where you go into states of awareness. Is this useful for you guys, therapists? And also trying to have some mastery of dissociation, right? And knowing about dissociation and feeling dissociation in order when you're yourself or you're working with people that it's a non-dissociative experience the person's going into. Sometimes dissociation is very useful, especially in very bad moments, right? It really protects us. But actually, the more powerful you're in awareness in very bad moments, the more protected you actually are, right? You can think about that guy up in Boston, what's his name, Vonderkoff, and his studies about awareness. Is this distracting right now, or are you guys with me on this, okay? So you would be able to feel the difference between your place and another person's place. Being in awareness is not necessarily being spaced out. You're a singular place, you and I are singular places within the indivisibility of space and place. There's a singularity of it. Isn't it amazing? There's a singularity of a you and me, even though we're space, a place of space. And that singularity forms a field that moves through life after life. Do you think the place goes with you, or you leave the place? What moves on? Green stuff. What moves on? Or does it move at all at the moment of death? What leaves? What leaves? Do you leave? What leaves? There's an open intimacy of one place entering another place. Sometimes one place can hold many places. This happens within a big space of place person. So like a lot of great yogis, when you meet great yogis, they hold all this space. And you feel them holding the space that you are. And you go, pretty interesting. You feel the space that you are being held in such a complete way from within. It's really not a contact moment. Sometimes a contact moment through the body of gazing and you can see it. But actually that's reflecting what's taking place non-locally in the local moment of the face. Raise your hands if that's making sense to you guys. Okay? All experience, almost done. Almost done, yeah. All experience, every experience unfolds within the place of your awareness, within the space of awareness. It's actually happening whether you know it or not. So it's really, really better to know it. And to know it, we have to have our awareness in the place of awareness, right? If my awareness is only my mind, I might not know what's happening. Hey, what's happening here? Even though it's happening. And even though if it's happening, it's influencing me, but I might not know it as directly as I really can know it. Is that okay? Experience takes place within the place of your awareness. Everything unfolds within this place that you are. Now this doesn't mean it's unfolding out of my mind like an idealist. My mind's creating this whole thing. You with me? You with me? As Lama Torchen says, that's stupid. He's a very opinionated person. He's a very fine person. By stupid he means ignorance in a classic way. But it's not just a function of my mind. But you are unfolding within my awareness right now. Within the awareness that I am right now. Right? Can you feel the difference? Like Ayn Rand thinks everything's a function of your mind. Okay? By mind has two meanings here. That's why sometimes in Dzogchen you differentiate your mind from awareness, right? It helps makes things a little clearer. I'll come back in a moment. So everything takes place within this place of our awareness. Everything unfolds within this place that you and I are. The unfolding of karma and the very path of realization unfolds within and through the place that you are. Isn't that amazing? The unfolding as it's happening is karma unfolding, and my karma is the path of realization. Do you believe that? Do you think that? Does that give you comfort? Do you feel intentionality arising when you hold that way? Actually, it helps undo ambivalence. It doesn't mean you stay in the same place all the time, but it helps undercut ambivalence. And most yogis do not like ambivalence. They really don't like it. Can you feel that? What ambivalence does for you? Sort of neither here nor there. You with me? Wherever. It's like always waiting for a better time. Like Blanche Dubois. Anybody identify with Blanche Dubois here? You know Blanche Dubois? So whatever takes place within this place that you and I are, takes place within the field of awareness itself. And the more you and I are in the field holding it, the more we know what's happening, the more we know it from the level of the field. And that is really powerful. That is creativity. And that is magical realism in the true sense of magical realism. Right? The experience becomes the place and the character of the place. What? Yeah, the place that I am. All these experiences become this place. And the place of awareness, this place of space actually utilizes it. It's not like it's inseparable, you know? When Lord Buddha said emptiness and form, or how does he say? What did he say? Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. He's talking about this. They're in oneness. A lot of times, certain teachers sometimes forget about the form quality. It's just but emptiness and form, appearance and emptiness are in complete oneness. Something happens. Through experience, the experience becomes the place and the character of the place. So hopefully, as you and I do meditation and practices, and by practice I mean practice being in awareness and all the various and sundry skillful means, something's actually happening. And the place, the body of enlightenment, the Vajravas body, is manifesting. The light is actually creating the light. The yogic body is constructed. You don't have to believe any of this, okay? I wouldn't, but the body is constructed. Do you ever feel the body being constructed? Like more light, more fabric? Anybody ever feel that? Raise your hands if you ever feel that. So something's happening. That's why some of the great Upanishads says, all experience is food. Everything is food. And you want to experience what you're going through as food, huh? Metabolizing it, utilizing it. The Shaivites, the digestion of experience is the light. Abhinagunta would talk about, Sharon talks about this really greatly, the importance of digestion, metabolism of experience, right? Not having too much leftover garbage cans behind the car. So you and I are configured through experience. There is a givenness, but skillful means is utilizing what's been given to us, huh? Skillful means is utilizing what's been given, including iconic memory, which we were focusing on last week. Through experience, oh, here we are, becoming memory within the place of awareness. The energy and the light of experience becomes the field of awareness. And that becoming can mean different things, but I like the word becomes. Just like, oh, this becomes you. It has that subtle implication. It becomes you. You with me? It becomes. This memory is not simply a memory of the mind or the memory of a narrative, and the memory itself can become source, iconic source. Then last week I gave that little story, about, and then other people gave stories, but I really thought there was such an excellent range. Huh? The openness of the space actually embodies and transforms the experience. The more space, the more transformed my experience will be. It just won't be a dull thud. It'll be a dull thud, but it'll be transformed in the power of the awareness state, right? That is basic confidence we want to have. That's the basic faith, huh? This light of experience, the energy of the experience is absorbed and metabolized. The character, the place transforms. Or as Jack Nicholson says, I'm becoming a better person, right? When I extend the field, I'm a better person. Or if I meet something in the field, I am now becoming a better person in a certain way. Whatever is experienced within the field of your place becomes your place and builds and intensifies that place. The energy of the light is absorbed by the place. Now, some of the yogis call this process the alike field. The alike field is a word that is used in lots of different places, okay, in lots of different things. So it means lots of different stuff. Some call it the storehouse, asanga, especially when there was something called the 5 teachings of Manjushri, and one was Uttara Tantra, 4th century. Really great Tantra. It's the beginning when they began to focus on the cosmological aspect of Buddha nature, And with that, there also became the issue of storehouse and how to try and understand past life experience, okay? And is it pure, it's impure, and there's all kind of descriptions about the alike field. The way I think about it in a simplistic way, something happens and it's infused by the field of awareness and it remains. And that which happens is divinity. As all appearance is divinity, something's happening in my experience that is divinity and that remains even as my mind and body separate. Because it's in primordial awareness. Then some people take this a little bit more, not as dual as that statement, and make it a little bit more dualistically, which I'm doing here. It means as you actually hold the field, and experience in the field, it actually becomes part of the alike field. Then some say everything is part of the alike field. I don't know whether this is true or not, but I do have some confidence that the alike field is like iconic memory. You follow what I'm saying? Now, after thinking about that, I'm trying to entertain you today, I guess, but I found a book. This is how it happens to me sometimes. I think about stuff sometimes, and then I found this book, just by chance, a few days later. It's called Difference in Givenness. It's on Deleuze. And Deleuze has this whole thing. He's a phenomenologist, a French character. And he talks about ontological memory and empirical memory. Same topic. Isn't that interesting? If you like this sort of thing, okay? So ontological memory is memories, and then he compares it, again, he's a Heideggerian influence. He says, just as Heidegger makes a difference between being and beings, there's all the little beings and being, the same thing takes place. When you have experience where being is coming through, you're actually experiencing being, that becomes what he would call an ontological or transcendental memory. Then all the other memories are empirical memories. Raise this if this is not really exciting for you, that you just... Raise your hands if this is making sense to you. Does this make sense to you guys a bit? So, iconic memories, like people were describing, whether it's Jen with her child, you with me? Or opening of a particular dream, or whatever the experience is, it is really the manifestation of being is being experienced by you since you're in the field, right? You follow this? And so it becomes like an ontological memory, or to use our language, an iconic memory, which is now a port of source. So if you can, and that memory comes to you again, because as he described, these memories never leave, they never disappear. They're always there as source. And so when you enter that iconic doorway, the experience is again there in fullness. Raise your hands if that's been your experience. So it's not like looking through a picture book. Now I went to NASCAR last summer also. You with me? Now that's empirical memory for me, okay? I had a great time, learned a lot, it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't necessarily iconic memory. So I can think about it, but the experience is entirely different than that other experience that I described. Why are we bothering this? Because a lot of us have lots of experiences, and then we think they're just memories. And we even mourn for them. Oh, oh. And I don't think that's useful. I think the memory that was a gift of being itself and the manifestation of being itself as itself, and that you experienced the bigness of your own being in that moment through that theater, is really a source of the alike feel that's open for you and I today. And it's always there. Always, always, always there. And if you transfer it in your mind to an empirical memory, it may not, we can hide it itself. We can hide it how we think about it. And we can hide it through loss. That is why the death of a guru is a tricky business, okay, of a master. Are you with me? And if you've been lucky to have one, and if you want one, you will always find one, though they'll find you. Or it may be of another dimension. But when you have the death of a guru or gurus, it's a tricky thing to think it's an empirical narrative. Say yes if you have some feeling for this. So you really want to hold it in a certain way, that doorway is always open, huh? With me? Just like the icons. Just like when Jen looked into her child's face, or some of the other descriptions were made. Almost done. They understand that all these experiences divine, they have divine appearance, and there's an indivisibility between primordial awareness and experience. All appearance and experience that manifests within the space, the space of this place. And awareness is the energy and light infusing you as the place of space. But if this all happens in mind alone, then in a certain way nothing much happens. So there's always this givenness. But that is why the basic path of being an awareness of awareness, though it's so easy, is extremely strenuous in a certain way. Because when we step out of it, we will go into empirical memories. And empirical memories, as Freud knows, and we all knows, will take you back into history. Right? Do you believe this? It takes you back into history. But when you go back into history, it's not just a memory of a book. You go back into history, and those states are reorganizing us one more time again. Yes, sir.
Timelessness. My sense of the iconic memory isn't a memory. It's more of a going into a timeless space.
Yep.
Where that thing, that experience, we're
Yes.
I remember I had that a long time ago when I was struggling with
Mm-hmm.
having hurt someone and wanting to try to resolve it, and I realized the way I could do it if I just go back to that space and
Yes.
hold
Yes. Yes.
that space
Yes.
of
He.
timeless, and that dissolved.
Yes, he's helping us out because the experience itself is in timeless awareness. So in that way, so that little story I said about with Muktananda, that was a timeless experience for me, and that experience is timeless in me. Thank you, Tom. Okay, and all those other experiences are timeless. So if you look, sometimes it's really good just to look at those memories, and that you're developing the skillful means of being able to access and remain in timeless awareness. And certain of those timeless awareness memories will do that for us. It will bring us right into the timeless state. Maybe that's the end of this sermonette now, but I'd like to thank everybody. So let's just say thank you, Tom, with that. Timeless awareness, right? So here we are. Well, let's just be quiet for a few minutes. We'll sit and rest. When you have, talking about the guru, as you know, the guru is the light of your own awareness, and the guru is pervasive. The guru is not a person, and the guru is the self-manifestation of primordial awareness, timeless awareness, manifesting itself in you, but it's also manifests itself in you through other people who actually hold that. And so when they mirror, when that's mirrored between you and that person, or they actually experience that in you, it helps you experience that in your own self. That's why if you have the fortune of being with a master, when that master holds that understanding of you, it's not just in the mind, or it's in their mind, but also in that non-localness that allows you to experience the self-revelation of your own self, the self-recognition in your own self. Right? Right. And devotion does that. Devotion, the mutual holding of that experience, is really, really doorway, huh? So with that understanding, it's useful to know and not allow to possible memories, whatever that might be, that open up the beingness of your own being to your own self, which is being itself. So it's beyond yourself. Memories are really useful in doing that, even at the moment, you know? And sometimes it's alive, just looking into a person will do that. And sometimes it actually is a memory. But we have to be a little careful about the good old days, okay? This is what this is. You have to be a little careful about the good old days. Because if you locate it as the good old days, which is easy at times to do, especially if they were good old days, you have to be careful because it can translate that iconic ontological memory to an empirical narrative. Okay, everyone? Here we are. So, sorry for the long talk and meandering around. So let's hold awareness together as a group for a little while. Would that be okay? We'll do that. And then next week we'll go back into working into pairs. But this week, let's hold the field as a group. But we'll form a big triangle. And you can come right there, Karen. You can come right there. You can just stay right where you're at, hon. And you want to sit right behind her? Okay. You're gonna come right over there. We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay 4 out there. We'd have a big one. Okay. Clunk. Okay. So let's fill in our little. Maybe you can be there, and you can sit in the middle with the baby. Everybody's here. So let's focus on people we know who might be sick right now. Let me focus the light on them. There's more space up here too. Maybe when I come here. Think about that. Dr. Yan, also a great master, used to say, when you do Qigong, part of the reason why you work in Qigong and extending energy in Qigong is at times you can help make the unbearable bearable. You with me? That was one of his really, that when you have the field, no matter what you're going through, it helps make the unbearable bearable, huh? And that ultimately helps us not fragment to the degree we can fragment when we're going through terrible experiences, huh? Right? So let's focus with each other again. Let's increase it, huh? So one is extension, one is just being in the field, holding it. First we hold it, huh? And then we start to become it. And the more we become it, the more we can amplify it. And this is something everybody can do. And the more we can pacify it, and the more times we can magnetize it, we can pull. You know? So we'll focus on Anna with her baby first. Thank you so much. And you can maybe just move this side a little bit. Maybe somebody else can come in the middle. We're going to do this rather fast. Each person will come in the middle now. As we're really starting to form our seminar today more. Somebody else would sit in the middle. I'm not going to do it for long. Just jump in the middle. Leap. Leap. Great. Thank you so much. We'll focus. Anytime you focus on a family to a person, you're focusing on their family, the generational field, right? We don't exactly leave the generational field. We focus on it. We enhance it. We empower it. Just like we're empowered through empowerments, that also empowers generational field. It really is not that much. It's not a solipsic thing, is it? In a heart essence. Thank you so much. Someone else? Anyone else like to leap in? Thank you. Focus on the person in the middle. Luminous space. Extending. Luminous space. Thank you so much. Someone else? Hey, good to see you. I'll extend to Marilyn. As we do this today, notice how an aspect of the extension will feel local. You with me? So like a me and you, or you and Marilyn. And you can feel the field moving. You can actually feel it in a local way. You can feel the energy. Then you can notice another aspect of yourself may have more breadth, depth, and width, and may have a little bit of more of a non-local quality. Thank you, Marilyn. Next person. We'll just leap in the pit. Thank you. I'll lean into Chris. Let's lean into her. Thank you so much. And even as we're extending, we can allow ourselves to look at the person in an iconic way, huh? And that gaze through and into phenomena. One way of gazing is on the surface, just the surface. That's another way of gazing, just on the surface. As we extend, we'll practice that with Tom, just gazing on the surface. The level of the skin, the light. We were hearing Rinchen Dorje's chanting this morning. Gave so many of the Togo practices, huh? Gazing. Extending the Tom. Experiencing. Thank you so much. Somebody else leap into the middle. Welcome, Dawn. Let's gaze into dawn with our whole body, like 1,000 eyes. Let's shift a little bit more to inside. Did that feel different to you when we shifted? Would you describe the difference between that first one gazing and then
First, it was sort of like gentle breaths on my outside, just like brushing.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything came inside, and it was just like all this light coming into me, and it was just up and down. It was like an opening, energy coming in.
Cool. You're so good at describing your experience. It really helps us, right? So you can know different ways of extension, huh? Will have different effects, right? Not always in a predictable.
Very different.
Very different. Yeah. Sometimes a felt difference, like whoa, and sometimes different strokes for different situations, right? But it's not mechanical at all, and more happens. Somebody else, let's leap into the middle. Thank you, Dawn, so much. We should leap soon. But I really like each person coming in. Welcome you into our little seminar. Focus. Let's do both. The gaze, the whole body, and inside to inside if we can. And we'll open up our backs more now. Invoking the deities, companions. Thank you, Patricia. Take your time, no rush. And then somebody else would like to come in the middle. Focus on Juliet. Let's practice with Juliet inside to inside. Let's invoke help the Tramanagmo, that invocation inside our bodies. The Dark Mother. Luminous. Luminous blue. Yeah. Thank you so much. She was focused already with her mom. Somebody else? Great. Somebody else leap in? Focus on Marla. Let's focus through Marla. Let's extend that feel through her. Let's focus a bit more through Marla, like we're amping it up just a little bit more. Is that okay, Marla? Thank you, Marla. Somebody else come in the middle? Thank you so much. So let's focus on the inner heart essence. We're going to focus on the heart drops. Is that okay with everybody? And let's release that if we can, if it happens. And then doing that, we'll focus on Amrita, that inner Mahasukha. Thank you so much. Great. Somebody else? Right, each person comes, it's just the first person like a pathfinder, and as we come along, it gets stronger and more easy. Somebody else want to leap in the middle? Two people can. Maybe two people can. Great. We'll focus. Nice to have you here. Let's focus very, very subtle. Thank you so, so much. Glad to have you here. So the guru is in everybody's body, right? So let's focus on the guru, that function within Karen of self-revelation. Thank you so much. If you have to leave early, you should come up now, okay? But then, thank you, Barbara. I'll focus on Barbara. Let's focus on that same guru and Barbara. Focusing on awakened awareness. Thank you so much. Somebody else? Focus on Steve. Let's focus on the Shakti, the Chi, the energy, the scintillate. The vibration. Focus on the fire, the light. She's doing great. You know, it's great because the first guru is the mother, right? The first guru is the mother. And it's in a most literal sense, you know? Given that in mind, very seldom would I tend to focus on the baby alone without the mother, in light of the guru principle, holding them together. You follow what I mean? Having a good time, Steve? Yeah. Thank you, chewy sauce. Someone else? Okay, thank you, Mary. So we're going to focus on the heart essence with Mary as just pure love. Okay, we'll do that with Mary. Totally simple. Thank you, Mary. Somebody else? We'll focus on Tanya. Let's focus on the Dakini in Tanya. The deity is the goddess, Dakini, energy, light. Do you feel that in your own body as you focus on her? Thank you, Tanya. Somebody else? Can you feel the different qualities? As you work it? Nice to have you here. Welcome back. Let's focus on Shiva. Pure awareness. Not with our mind zone, just on the Dharmakaya. Thank you so much. Somebody else? Glad to have you here. We'll focus on Mimi. Let's pass through, Mimi. Let's practice passing through. We'll steal that. We'll just do like our hands like we're Thank you. What I'd like us to do maybe next week, if you guys wouldn't mind bringing in the Skillful Means Handbook. Okay? And you can get it from volume 2 if you want on transmission. And we'll start going over that again because a lot of people have never done that. We haven't done it in years. We'll go through Skillful Means next week, I think. Will everybody be here next week?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll focus on Lynn. Let's focus on protection. And it's not because anything's wrong, but let's focus on protection. Because awareness is the great protector, right? And there's different names for the protectors and that. So let's focus on protection. Let's focus as the line face Dakini. And if you've done that practice and you feel, then you focus on that with her, through her. Is that okay? And we always take that very serious, that practice, okay? Because it's a serious practice. Thank you so much. Somebody else? Thank you, Mary Kay. Let's focus again on the line face Dakini. How many people here have done that practice at least one time? Great. Let's focus on her. Then we focus on her in Mary Kay as Mary Kay. Like we're both holding or entering. And we do that from the posture that we all have lots of support. You with me? And we have that confidence that we have support behind us, and great yogis and archetypical energy. So we do that now again. I mean for our love for the line face Dakini. And it's like a wish that she protects everyone. And everyone who belongs to everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. Thanks. Somebody else? Michelle. We'll focus on Michelle. We're going to focus on the line face Dakini with Michelle. As we focus on Michelle, since we're getting near the end, I'm going to read the line face Dakini, okay? And this is from Chögyam Lingpa. So we'll focus again, okay? So in front of us is the Guru and the primordial wisdom Dakini, indivisible. Huh? So we can think of them both here and elsewhere, still in front of us. Indivisible, the united essential nature of all our iconic refuge. Adding a phrase there. Namo, I bow or embrace. The primordial wisdom Dakini, self-pure awareness. We'll extend to Michelle. Without separation, I go for refuge. So there's no separation to begin with our refuge objects, to use that word, configurations. And the confused intellect, my mind of discursive duality, is awakened into the great self-liberation. Extend to her, which means we're also experiencing the extension of our own selves. In the originally pure, deep, clear Dakini, I embrace the direct perception of the Dharmata, embracing gnosis. And I offer the increasing experience of appearances. And I experience the ultimate measure of pure awareness more and more. I rejoice in the exhaustion or dissolving of all things into the Dharmakaya. To be able to experience that. And I invoke the turning of the inexpressible wheel of the Dharma, which is happening right now in our lives. The turning of the wheel didn't happen 2 AD alone. And I invoke you to remain firm in the great transference body, the luminous body of light. And I offer all accumulated virtue into the sphere of luminosity. The field of refuge dissolves, indivisible, into our own selves. Dissolving the obscurations, that we can see more directly. Blessings are bestowed, generating the deity, arising from the realm of non-conceptual emptiness. And there's a throne, lotus sun, and 8 types of demonic forces. So you're inviting the whole group, everything. Our own pure awareness is a red hung from which light shines forth and returns. It means we extend it out, it comes back. We can do that. And then we take aham, I am, aham, the demon's subduing fierce mother, the lion-headed Dakini. Red, black, fiercely wrathful, terrifying body. And from the upwardly swirling turquoise mane, small lines, tigers, emanate forth. My 2 hands, we're the Dakini now, hold a curved Vajra blade and a skull cup filled with blood. In the crook of my left arm is a Vajrakatara staff, a staff that supports. And I'm adorned with both the charnel ground ornaments and bone ornaments. Standing amidst blazing apocalyptic fire, wisdom fire, the fire of knowingness. And I joyfully display the posture of the dance. In the hollow amulet, that's like an opening, huh? The amulet's open. That's the fold. That's the fold of awareness, that opening of awareness, like a fold, okay? Of the sun and moon at my heart, at the heart, is the essence of the life force, a red hung, and which circles the brilliant red mantra mala, and from its spinning, a continuous circle of fire, and sparks the scintillate. And maledictions and curses, negations, burned to ash, dissolved. And consciousness becomes the realm of non-conceptual purity, non-conceptual knowingness. And the mandala of primordial wisdom and sheer luminosity and the syllable of the mantra, the fierce mother, is like a shock, a storm, thunder and lightning. Akasa marasa shadarasa marayatpat. Then it says, like these texts say, this is the only mantra needed to protect, to reverse, or to destroy. And this band of words is like a black sword which annihilates maledictions and curses of the 3,000-fold universe. So we hold that understanding in our own body to dissolve, huh? And it's always good to know that receptivity is not passivity. They're radically different, right? Passivity is radically different than receptivity. Do we know that? Do you know that? We all want to know that. That's for all of us, right? Thank you, guys. Thank you. See you guys later. Next week. Please be signing this. We have to get our little email, which is always messed up and confused. So, we'll see you guys later. On the transmission? No, that's not. I'll get it sometime, though. You know, I don't put this on these type of texts I don't put on that because they really, I think you can get this from a wisdom publications, I think, you know. And I'm still thinking what to ask Lama Tarchin, and I might have this one. I don't know. We have to think about it, but this is a very powerful practice. And there are other practices. There's Dujum Rinpoche's practice. Kunzang Daishin Limpa has a similar practice, and this style has Dujum Lingpa's style is always, it's so contemporary. It's like a here and now style. Thank you, guys. Great. Take it easy.